Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Marachak, Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to the hopeful elect. Yeah, in this lesson, I want to go into, as it's written here in Romans, the 12th chapter, going into the diversity of gifts. And I also want to use a sports reference, right? I'm going to use football because I used to play football and I like football as an example of what I want to explain and get it through, right? But for those of you who may be into sports or maybe into video games, right, you could use, different examples, whether it be basketball, football, baseball, soccer, whatever have you, whatever sport that you're into or have played, you could use that as an example, right? The Lord's will, I could relay off the message. So the point starts at verse 4, but we're going to start at verse 1. Romans chapter 12 and verse 1, right? And it says dedicated service. It says, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Heavenly Father, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto the Heavenly Father, which is your reasonable service. So we're supposed to present our bodies, right, through this work this is a reasonable service, right? Which, let me see what reasonable says there. Right. Okay. So it says, really straight to the point. It says agreeable to reason, following reasonable, logical. So this is a logical thing to do. This is a logical service to do, right? Because compared to what else is out there in the world, nothing really makes sense doing any of these things out there in the world. Because we all know that, like scriptures say, the fashions of this world passeth away, and we know that this current world, right, this current time period, or should I say this current era is going down. So what would be the point of seeking to do things of the world when this time, or I'm sorry, not this time, but this era is going down? The only logical and reasonable thing to do, which would be to what? Present your bodies as a living sacrifice to the Heavenly Father, right, which is your reasonable or your logical service, right? It's the only logical thing to do. Lord's willing, we be of that number. Verse 2, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So when you find out about this truth, there is a renewing, right? There is a remaking, right? A remodeling of who you thought you were, right? At one point, you thought you were this person in the world, and you were what? You were modeling yourself after, following certain people of the world, right? Or just seeing as how I'm going to use a sports reference, right? And I'm going to use the guy right now because he's popular, right? And I'm happy, as a sports thing, I'm just going to say it. And I'm happy that he had the year that he's having right now, which is Saquon Barkley, the running back for the Philadelphia Eagles. He was formerly the running back for why am I messing it up? The Giants, right? Excuse me. And with that, right, you may have, if you were into sports or maybe into rap or whatever it is in the world, you at one time would emulate these people, right? You would watch after them. You would try to do the things they would do. You would try to mimic them and things like that, right? Right. You were conforming yourself after the image of some of these people in the world. But having found out about this truth, having found out about Yahweh, which is the name of the Heavenly Father, the true name of the Heavenly Father in the ancient Hebrew, and his son Yahushai, you are not conforming yourself, right, to the image of the Son. You are not conforming yourself to the way that they want you to be. And now you're emulating, right, copying the Son, right, which the Son of the Heavenly Father is Yahushai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. So again, for verse 2, and be not conformed to this world, right? Don't follow or try to emulate and copy the people of the world, right? But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is good. That ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Heavenly Father, right? So there's a renewing where now you're coming back to who you truly are, right? Like I said earlier, at one point you were, modeling yourself after certain people in the world, right? Some of these stars, if you will, right, that they call in the world, right? But now, right? Some people even call him, oh, that's my idol and things like that, right? But now, who is your, let me not say that just in case of anything, but now you're modeling yourself after what? Yahweh Shai, right? Yahweh Shai is the man that you look up to now, and that what you're trying to remodel yourself after. Verse 3, for I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly according as the Most High dealt to every man the measure of faith. Right, and this is the point that I want to get into right here at verse 4. Excuse me, I'm sorry. For as we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office, so we, being many, are one body in Hamashiach, and everyone members one of another, having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us. Right? So everybody has their different gifts. Everybody has their different style, if you will, right? So the thing that I want to get into, and I'm going to use sports reference to explain what I'm trying to say, but just going to say this, right? Don't feel bad if you're not like this brother, or if you're not as deep as this brother, right? Or maybe you may see him like, damn, this brother really goes in, this brother gets really fired up. We all have different gifts, right? That the Lord has given us, different abilities, different style, right? We all have a different swagger, if you will, right? Just trying to use different words to explain it, right? So you can understand the point. We're not all going to be carbon copies of each other, all doing the same thing. Now, yes, don't get it twisted. The scriptures do say that we all speak the same thing, right? So, yes, we all agree that, hey, the name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh. The name of the Son is Yahweh Shai. We all agree on the MOTB. We all agree on certain things. Salvation is only for Israel, yada, yada, yada. But we're not all going to just break down things the exact certain way. Like for me, for example, right, using this, I'm going to use a sports reference to explain what I'm trying to say here. But another brother may use a whole different reference or a whole different explanation or something to explain what he's saying. But what? Edification still goes out, and we're still speaking the same thing. It's just I use a sports reference like I'm going to use to explain what I'm trying to explain, whereas another brother may explain it in a different totally way using his things that he's been through in life. You see? So we all speak the same thing, but we all have different gifts, different styles. You see? We're not all going to be the same. And to get into my sports reference, what I'm trying to say is using the example, and like I said, you could use whatever example you'd be, if whatever sport you have played or whatever, right? But using Saquon Barkley as an example, right? The running back for the Philadelphia Eagles. Formerly, he was the running back for the New York Giants. Has a great year, runs for 2,005 yards, right? Now, any person and anybody on any team would probably be like, damn, I wish we had Saquon. Or why couldn't our running back run for 2,000 yards, right? Now, you might be like, well, damn, right? Now, imagine if another player on another team hears that. Or let's just say, I'll use the Giants, for example, right? Let's say the Giants running back here is like, damn, Saquon ran for 2,000 yards. And, you start hearing word around, in the locker room and things like that, like, damn, why can't our running backs run for 2,000 yards? Why can't our running backs do this or do that? And it's like, you have to understand, Saquon plays for the Philadelphia Eagles. And he has to, now it's not necessary that he runs for 2,000 yards, but he has to do and execute, right, what the Philadelphia Eagles want him to do on their offense. The New York Giants run a totally different offense, right? So you can't be looking all butthurt and be like, damn, I wish I could do what this guy do. I wish I was nice as this guy. You have your style, your talent that is unique to what the team needs you to do. Using another example, right? If Shamyar watches this video, if the spirit allows him to watch this video, he'll know exactly what I'm talking about, right? A running back called Alvin Kamara, right? He plays for the Saints. And when Drew Brees was playing, right? Also, if you don't know sports, you're not going to know what the fuck I'm talking about. So that's why I said if you play baseball, if you play soccer, basketball, use that as an example, right? But there's a running back that plays for the Saints. His name is Alvin Kamara. He wears 41, right? And during the time he was much better utilized when Drew Brees was the quarterback, right? And he has never ran for 1,000 yards ever in his career in 8 years playing for that team, right? But the way that they utilize him, he is a good running back and also a good receiving running back. So just to give you a distribution of his stats, he may run for like 700 yards, 800 yards, but he may catch, right? He may have 600, 500, 700 receiving yards. That's how the Saints use him. They utilize both of his talents. He's not just a good running back. He is also a good running back that can catch the ball out of the backfield. You can use it for screens. You could put him out there as a receiver. You could put him in the slot to utilize him in these different ways. So that way you can maximize the most out of him, because he is not just a running back that can run. He is also a good receiving back, right? So to use that, probably a better example between Saquon Barkley and Alvin Kamara, you may look at Saquon Barkley and say, damn, he had a great season. He ran for 2,000 yards. He's only one of, I think, 9 running backs to ever do that. That's great. That may be needed for the Philadelphia Eagles. But for the New Orleans Saints with Alvin Kamara, we don't need you to run for 2,000 yards, baby boy. Would that be great? Would that be awesome? That would be cool. That would be great for your career. That would be great for the stats. But we need to utilize you in these ways that we like to use you for the New Orleans Saints. We use you as a running back and we use you as a receiving back, so that way we can get the best out of you, because this is what we've seen that you are good in. He is good in being a running back and a receiving back. Now, don't get twisted. Saquon Barkley is also good at that as well, but Alvin Kamara, they utilize that more out of him, you see? And what I'm getting into in Romans, the 12th chapter, is that what? We all have our different gifts. You can't look at another brother and be like, damn, I'm not like this brother, or I'm not like that brother. Pray to the Lord, ask him and to bring out the gifts that he has given you, right? If you are going to be out there teaching and things like that, right? So let's continue. Let me start back at verse 6. It says, having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, whether prophecy, let us prophesy according to the proportion of faith, right? See, so the Lord has given all of us a measure of faith, right? Some of us may go deeper into prophecy. Some of us may, as it's going to continue saying, or ministry, let us wait on our ministering, or he that teacheth on teaching, or he that exhorteth on exhortation. He that giveth, let him do with simplicity, right? This is a person that, maybe blessed with money, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just make sure of that. Right. NLT says, if your gift is to encourage others, be encouraging. If it is giving, give generously, right? I just want to make sure of that, right? It says, let him do with simplicity that he ruleth with diligence. He that showeth mercy with cheerfulness, right? So everybody has their different ability. Everybody has their different gift. You don't have to be a Saquon Barkley. Now, would it be nice? Would that be great to add? Would any running back be great to have or run for 2,000 yards? Absolutely. That would be great, right? You'd be one of the top running backs, very few running backs to run for 2,000 yards. But you don't need to do that. Is that what's needed for the team? Does your team need a 2,000-yard rusher? Is that necessary to the team? Probably not. But what's probably good for the team is for them to utilize you in the ways that they can utilize you. That's best. That brings out the best out of you and brings out the best for the team, using Alvin Kamara as an example. They don't only use him as a running back, but they use him as a receiver as well, a receiving running back as well. You see? So that's the same thing with dealing with the gifts. Hey, you may not be that deep into prophecy, but hey, you may be a very good teacher in other things. Hey, you may be very good at exhorting, doing very good videos that uplift. Hey, keep pushing. Hey, keep going. Don't give up. Keep the faith, right? These may be things that you are very good in, but just because you're not that great in prophecy doesn't mean that you shy away from it. And it doesn't mean that you feel down and be like, damn, and look at the other brother and be like, damn, look how great, and look how, maybe, hey, ask that brother certain questions about certain things. He may be able, you may be able to, excuse me, feed off of him a bit, right? And maybe some of him could rub off on you, and you could be also good in prophecy, but right, as well, and get stronger in it as well. This is not a video to say that, hey, just because you may be good in one thing, right, that you don't try to be good in other things as well. But this is to say that, hey, pretty much exploit what you're good at, right? In a terminology that they use in football, right? Exploit the defense, exploit the weakness in the defense, right? Or exploit the weakness in the offense, right? And what does that mean? Let's say you have like a corner that isn't that good, right? Or a rookie corner, right? That's what Tom Brady, that's what Peyton Manning, and I'm using sports reference again. That's what Tom Brady or Peyton Manning used to do in their career. If they would see a weak cornerback or a corner that is like a rookie, they would exploit him. They would go after him. Why? Because he is the weakness in the defense. They would exploit him. They would throw the ball to the receiver, that is the corner that is covering the receiver, I'm sorry, the corner that is not that strong, that may be a rookie, or he's able to be exposed. They would throw the ball his way, right, and try to get big plays off it, or even touchdowns. Why? Because that is the weakness in the defense. So the same thing with your gifts. Not saying that your gifts are a weakness, but exploit that, attack it, use what the Lord has given you. The same way the offense is seeing an opportunity, like, yo, this guy isn't that good out there. He sucks at corner. Exploit that motherfucker. Go after him. The same thing with your gifts. Exploit it. Go after it. You do. That's a strength for you. Use it. Utilize it. Do. Excuse me. Exploit that and do good in it. Right? If it's for exaltation, like I was saying earlier, exploit that. If it's in prophecy, exploit that. Do good in it. Right? Right? But don't look, because I like I said, I used to play football and things like that. Right? And sometimes you get that feeling of, oh, well, I'm not as nice as this guy. This guy's bigger than me. He's faster than me. I can't measure up to this guy. This is not about that, right? This is about utilizing the gifts that the Lord has given every man. And every man has diversity of gifts, right? Just like in the world, there's diversity of plants, diversity of certain herbs, and not everything does the same thing. Right? Certain things may do something that may be stronger, right? Like me, for example, right? I'll say this because, at least in my experience, right? Maybe there's a herb that is strong with getting rid of the cold or whatever, right? But in my experience, any time that I've gotten sick or whatever, the thing to me that has always gotten rid of the cold the fastest, at least in my experience, I'll say, has been using turmeric and ginger. Those two, to me, especially using that, I'm sorry, not turmeric and ginger, sorry, ginger and cayenne pepper. Using that, in my experience, anytime I've gotten sick or the cold or whatever, using that has been the best way to get rid of the cold, right? But there may be other things that, hey, they also get rid of the cold, but it may not be as potent. It may not be as strong, but it still gets the job done. But it's just not as powerful and as strong as that. But it doesn't mean that it's not good either, right? So it's the same thing with the diversity of gifts everybody has. You may not be as strong as this brother in this. You may not be as exalting. That's fine. Find your gift, find your uniqueness, find what makes you special in the spirit, and exploit that, right? And use that to edify the body, to uplift the body, to be of use to the body. You see? Also, let me may want to read this also in the NLT as well. Right? In the NLT, verse 6, it says, in his grace, the Heavenly Father has given us different gifts for doing certain things well. See, so we each have different gifts for doing things well. Hey, this was Saquon's year to run for 2,000 yards. This is his year. He's the guy. He's up here doing these things. But hey, like I use Alvin Kamara as an example, He's never ran for 1,000 yards ever in his career, but the way that the Saints use him, he's had a great career with the Saints. The way that they use him as a running back and as a receiver out of the backfield, you see. So his special ability with the Saints is to be this pretty much like this all-purpose back, right? That can do everything. So if the Heavenly Father has given you the ability to prophesy, speak out with as much faith as the Heavenly Father has given you. So again, like I was saying, exploit that, use that. If you're good at prophecy, going into Ezekiel 38 chapter, going into like Jeremiah 50, 51, going into Revelation 13 and 16, and going into these things and showing, hey, this is going to lead to World War III. Hey, this is eventually going to lead to the MOTB. Do that, right? Speak out as with much faith as the Heavenly Father has given you. If your gift is serving others, serve them well. If you are a teacher, teach well, right? So if you're just a straight up teacher, you can teach the word, then do that to the best of your abilities that the Heavenly Father has given you. If your gift is to encourage others, right? Like even today you have that, right? What you call it? That dude, I'm pretty sure a lot of people know him. His name is Eric Thomas. He's a very well-known speaker. He's the guy that came up with years ago, how does it go? I gotta find it now. If you want to breathe as badly, something, I know his name is Eric Thomas. Yeah, motivational speaker. What was the quote? If you want to breathe, yeah, here it is. Right. It says, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful, right? So certain things like this, but we do this spiritually, right? There's other quotes here. All roads lead to success. Oh, let me read that again. It says, all roads that lead to success have to pass through hard work boulevard at some point. At the end of pain is success. I use my pain to push me to greatness, right? It says when you're great, and I guess something else, it says pain is temporary, right? So this is what certain brothers, these are the gifts that the Heavenly Father has given certain men to encourage, right? Some men probably have said what this guy has said, but in the spirit, right? In a spiritual way, right? This quote that he's known for, right? When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. Right? Verse 8 again, if your gift is to encourage others, be encouraging. If it is giving, give generously. If the Heavenly Father has given you leadership ability, take responsibility seriously, right? Some men have been made heads of churches, right? And therefore, like it says, take it seriously, right? And if you have a gift of showing kindness to others, do it gladly. Don't just pretend to love others, really love them. Right? Hate what is wrong, hold tightly to what is good, right? But I just wanted to bring that out because that was something that I was meditating on. I forgot what exactly led me to thinking about that. And then I just thought of the Spirit told me, I'm sorry, not Revelation. My mind has been on Revelation, especially 13. Romans, the 12th chapter, and just, again, using the sports reference with Saquon Barkley. You don't have to have a running back run for 2,000 yards. You don't have to have, everybody doesn't have to have a Saquon Barkley. Everybody doesn't have to have a Derrick Henry or a LaDainian Tomlinson and things like that. No, sometimes it's good to have an Alvin Kamara, and he works well in your offense, and he's going to bring out what you need. You see? Because now, I'm going to get a little more sports thing, because now, Saquon Barkley, if you know about football, he's going to face 8 and 9 in the box. What I mean by 8 and 9 in the box, if you know about sports, football, that means that you're going to have pretty much, you see where the defensive linemen are and the linebackers are? Just bring down a safety or a corner, things like that, or the safeties, and you're stacking up the box against the run. That's what it means by having 8 and 9 in the box, right? You're pretty much heavily defending against the run. Saquon Barkley sees that more often. So does Derrick Henry. But if you have a running back like Alvin Kamara, right, he doesn't see that as much. Why? Because they have to worry about him escaping out of the backfield and being a good receiving running back. And he's also elusive, right? So again, all these gifts that he has in the football world, makes him a very good tool for his team. That way he doesn't need to run for 2,000 yards. He doesn't need to do these things because he's deadly in his own way. And that's the same thing in the spirit. Be deadly for the Lord in your own way, right? Be that we're all tools, right? We're all, I think the Lord, if I'm not mistaken, calls us, thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. Be that battle axe for the Lord, right? But be that unique one that's different, that has a different feel to it, right? I'll use a video game example as well, right? Certain weapons that you may get in video games, right? They're all weapons. They're all tools to be used to destroy monsters or whatever type of video game that you're playing, right? I'll just use God of War, right? In God of War, especially the latest one, you have the Blades of Chaos, you have the Leviathan Axe, and you have the Dropnir Spear. All of them are weapons to kill, but what? They all have a uniqueness, a feel to it. With the blades, you're able to do more twists and turns, and it's more fluid. With the axe, it's more heavy combos and things like that. And then with the spear, it's more kind of ranged attacks, but also up close and personal. So we're all of these different things for the Lord. The Lord is able to use us. That's why some brothers may be more fiery. Some brothers may be a little bit more cool. Not saying that they're timid, but a little bit more cool in their explanations. It may not be as fiery, but they're still all strong weapons that the Lord can use in different ways. The Blades of Chaos, like what I mentioned, were very fluid, very mobile and things like that, right? Because it's chains swinging off of a blade. But then with the axe, you're more what? You're able to throw the axe as well, if I'm not mistaken. But the axe is more heavy hitting and things like that. But then you have the Dropnir Spirits. It's quick successions, quick hits and things like that, right? So again, you have these three different weapons that Kratos used. A very fast moving blades and things like that. A very heavy-handed, strong axe that he uses. But then he also has this quick spear that he's able to use and hit you with quick combos and things like that. You see? It's all doing what he needs to do, but all in different ways. You see? And I just explained that in a different way with video games now. So now I explained to you in sports reference, now in video game reference. So now there's no reason why you should understand, Lord's willing. But just wanted to go through that, just going into we all have different gifts and the Lord is able to use us to bring out those different gifts in different ways, right? So you shouldn't look and, feel bad as you're not as good as this brother. Nah, you have a gift, you have an ability that is good that the Lord can utilize in a particular way that he wants it to be used. Sorry. So I pray that this video has been edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha, Quadash. Double honors to the apostle elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to all. Shalom.